Hello and welcome back to Mad Mouse Games. Today we're going to be painting another miniature from the Reaper Bones 5 core set. This time, this guy. A dwarf who looks like he could be a monk or a fighter. Really excited to paint him up and see how he looks. I'm going to be working on specifically his skin and trying to make it look somewhat more realistic, as I haven't really had a model yet with a ton of skin like this. So this is going to be my first attempt at that, seeing how it goes, so let's get into it.
So here you can see me removing some of the mold lines. I haven't really done this on a lot of models, but this one had some very clear ones, so I decided to take them off. All you need is a little X-Acto knife. Just be really careful as you're doing it so you don't slice your finger open. So I decided to start with a dark brown base coat, and the reason for this is because I wanted to work my way up from a real darker color up to a nice light color for his skin. And starting with the dark really makes it so you don't have to add any washes later, and you can just put it all over everything, and by the end it'll basically just be in the recesses where the skin will be the most dark anyways. And so I just did a nice dark brown all around. Next, I started adding a little bit of lighter brown, just adding a little bit of the next color I was going to use, which was more of an orangish brown to the darker, mixing it in, slowly layering my way up to what I wanted. So one thing to keep in mind as you're layering your miniatures is that when you're applying the next layer of paint, it will always appear brighter than it will when it dries when you're first putting it on. So here, as you can see, it's quite a bit brighter than the layer before it, which would normally make it would make a lot of contrast between the two colors, but as it dries, it'll really blend together nicely as long as you're slowly adding lighter and lighter paints to it. So as you can see here, it all is blended pretty well up to this point. And so now I start adding some of the really bright, and I do this just kind of on the top of his eyebrows, tip of his nose, is the top of his ears, and then just the top parts of the muscle that's showing. At this point, I'm probably only adding the paint on maybe 30% of the skin, and this really will blend together nicely. One thing is, here I added a little bit of a lighter paint, and you'll see me in a little bit adding kind of a glaze, which I'll talk about why I added that when we get there. So this is what it's kind of looked like after I started adding the glaze to kind of work those layers better together. And I just applied the glaze real lightly over most of the areas that I thought there was too much of a difference, like right here. You can see that by adding just that little bit of glaze, it really has made that contrast kind of cut down so that it doesn't look like two separate layers of paint, and it more looks like a good blend across it. So this glaze, you can see me putting a little bit more of it on here, and then I come back through with a wet paintbrush in the recesses to clean that out nicely so that the recesses are still there. And one thing that I have a problem with is finding the difference between washes and glazes at this point. It's something that I'm still practicing on, but I thought it ended up looking really nice after I took it all off. And then I just went back in with a quick highlight on the skin for a final little touch to make it really pop where his eyes are, his nose, the top of his ears, and again, just the top of his muscles to really make those pop and look really nice. Next, I just went on to adding other details. I decided to make the little skin that he's wearing green, which I would add a wash to later, and then a highlight. I also went ahead and painted his hair kind of this nice reddish color, and then I added an orange highlight to his beard and his hair to make it really stand out from his face. I thought that ended up looking really nice, and then I just painted the rest of him kind of browns for the leather that he's wearing, and then eventually I ended up painting the metallics on him. So this is the finished product. I really liked painting this model. He was a lot of fun to do, and it was really nice to get a chance to really work on how I wanted to do his skin. Took a little bit of time, but I really enjoyed how it ended up. So if you liked the video, leave us a like, comment if there's anything else you want to see us paint, and subscribe so you can join us on our journey as we go through painting the entire Reaper Bones 5 core set. Again, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.